I'll call the September 5th meeting of the West Des Moines City Council to order and invite you all to stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, please sign in.
Four members present.
Okay, Ryan, have there been any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Your Honor.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as distributed?
So move.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Please vote.
4 yes.
Okay, we're going to move to item 2, Citizens Forum. This is a time for anybody that would like to address the council on any item that is not either part of public hearings or new business. So anybody that would like to address the council on any item that is not either part of public hearings or new business, please come to the podium here, give us your name and address for the record. Please keep it to 5 minutes or under. Come on up, Rochelle.
Hey, good evening, good afternoon. I just want to stop in real quick. I'm still in recovery mode. My name's Rochelle Long, 106 11th Street, West Des Moines. We just finished the Taste of the Junction Multicultural Festival weekend, and I just wanted to come and really say thank you. Without you, without the city, without the support of all of our sponsors, this is not possible. It was phenomenal. I know many of you may have been there that I didn't see, Matt. And anyone that, throughout this course, anyone that we forget to mention or say, please charge it to our heads and not our hearts. But I put together really quick, and I'm on time, right? It should be like a 2-minute fast presentation of
Perfect.
showing you some pictures of the weekend better than I could say it. So let me see if I could do this.
Good.
It should go on auto. So first of all, right, thank you to the city, thank you to the manager, the mayor, and all the behind-the-scenes people. Special thanks to Audrey, because Mayor, I know you put this on her shoulders to kind of push it down the road. So I just want to thank everybody that had any part in making this thing come to fruition, because it was a long time coming. And as you can see from the picture that day, it was monumental. The street was just full. Our hearts were full, and I just had to pause and say thank you. I have a car full and truck full of stuff. We're still unloading from the festival, but I had to come in, stop and say thank you from the family for the street naming. And then that kind of started our weekend for Taste of the Junction. It's all about the people, it's all about the culture, it's all about the cuisines. And our 3 C's is community building, curation and preservation, and cultural education. And this weekend, we hit all 3 C's. And it was the whole entire community. We had people from states flew in from California, Kansas, Missouri, Arizona, Nebraska, Georgia for the festival. People were staying in hotels. I heard that at the Courtyard Marriott, the Taste of the Junction Festival was on their marquee of something to do. So we're excited about that. So here's just a few slides. This was Saturday down in Valley Junction, and it was nonstop all day, 2 o'clock. There was a lady there setting her chair up at 11 o'clock, and we told her it doesn't start till 2. She said, I know. So but here's just some of the people, the cultures, from all day and all night. It was just full of people and vendors. And like I said, this is not possible without the support and sponsors from the whole entire community. So we just wanted to stop in and say thank you. Our presenting sponsor was Prairie Meadows. City of West Des Moines, you're our partner sponsor. It's huge. Your support means a lot. It carries a lot of weight. And then to our city staff and officials, I know a lot of you support it professionally, but I want to thank you all that wrote your personal checks. That means a lot. I want to say thank you for that. The Valley Church, they were our host sponsor for the Junction Speak. It was wall-to-wall people, wall-to-wall food. It was a great night of history, storytelling, and slideshows. Thank you, West Des Moines Community Foundation, for the pop-up museum. and gallery. We have a permanent gallery space now at 1312 Maple Street. You have to pop in. Our media sponsor, the Business Record, and then our gold sponsors came through: Polk County, Bravo, West Bank, Greater Des Moines Partnership. These are some big names. This is a lot. This means a lot to us. Our silver sponsors: Allspice, Miss Trudy Holman Hurd, Alonda Janice Long, and these behind-the-scenes people that made us look great. All these people that work behind the scenes that helped us shine. Our community sponsors, our own Renee Hardman. Thank yous, my friend, for your support. The West Des Moines Chamber of Commerce, and then the people, culture, and cuisine sponsors. There's many people that may have supported us, but they just didn't have time to get in print or on the slideshow. That's why I say, so if we miss any name, if we miss anyone, charge it to our heads and not our hearts. Our board of directors, we didn't have a festival committee this year. We just got a new board, and the board was a committee. And it's a small board, but they worked this thing out. So everything you've seen over the weekend, they were the engine that made it happen. So if you see any of these people, thank them for the work that they're doing for Taste of the Junction. And I just want to thank you all for your support. Thank you so much.
Did you want to present this to the mayor? The
Excuse me?
plaque- The plaque, did you want to
Oh,
present it
yes.
to the mayor?
And so, that's, thank you, Renee.
Yeah, I brought it, because I,
Thank you for the proclamation. That's huge. And the Taste of the Junction, we wanted to recognize, we did the city and the West Des Moines Human Rights Commission. So there's two of these coming out. But tonight, I want to officially present recognition to the city of West Des Moines for the 2023 Taste of the Junction Multicultural Festival. Thank you for your generous contribution, which supports our three priorities of community building, cultural education, curation, and preservation.
I will accept this on behalf of the city. Congratulations, and thank you so much. It was an honor to be a part of this. I'm sorry to have missed the event myself. I had a father-son time with my son who goes to school in Atlanta, and I had rescheduled that, and it was just over this weekend. But I know that Mayor Pro Tem McKinney was there and spoke, as well as Councilwoman Hardman. I know that Councilman Lotz was there, and a lot of other people from the city to support.
Yes.
And I got to see, they sent me pictures, and my goodness, the turnout was absolutely phenomenal. And as phenomenal as the turnout was, nothing could do justice to the kind of people that your parents were and what they did for our community, because they could have filled the streets entirely down there. They were great community leaders. I was honored to know them and to see them in action, sitting here in the council chambers. So congratulations on a successful weekend.
Thank you
Really
so much.
appreciate it.
can we get a photo?
Yeah, let's all come up and get a photo quick. Long time coming, almost 14 years. Come on, Vicki. No, don't sit up there.
So who's going to take it?
She's on online. Audrey, can you take it down?
We need some people up here. Just sit down.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. You can go, you want to, sorry.
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much. Nice job. I hope you guys celebrate our day. My son lost my voice. Okay, anybody else in the chamber for Citizens Forum or anybody online, please hit *6 to unmute yourself. Give us your name and address for the record. Is there anybody in the chamber or online for Citizens Forum? Giving that person time that's hitting #6 trying to get through, frustrated. *6. Okay, seeing and hearing no one, we'll declare Citizens Forum closed. We're going to move on to item 3, Mayor, Council, Manager Report, Other Entities Update. And this time, we will start down with Councilman Lotz.
Nothing to report, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Hardman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did want to, again, affirm the comments that you recently just made. It was a phenomenal weekend. It really was an honor to be able to speak at the unveiling of the sign for the Long family, the highway honorary sign for the Long family. And when you really saw all the people that were there, Park and Rec, thank you. They had to put out more chairs and more chairs and more chairs because a lot of people were there. Lots of seniors were there, all generational. So kudos for all the staff that helped make this a ceremony. It really was not just, here is the sign. It was actually a ceremony. So I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem McKinney for the wonderful remarks that he made on behalf of City Council and why we were there, and for the family for allowing me to just share some personal remarks about how I know this family and the impact that they've made on the lives of so many. So phenomenal, phenomenal event. So thank you Park and Rec, thank you Audrey, thank you Tom, thank you leadership for being there and making sure that everything went smoothly. The Taste of the Junction, which was also another cultural celebration right here in the heart of our city, where our city began, was phenomenal. I enjoyed walking around. I met so many people from so many states, and the people were there, lawn chairs. It was just packed. They had good music. I think I had to help shut it down around 11. They were still partying. I think I got there at 4, but didn't leave till 11. Enjoyed every single second I was there. And to see people come to West Des Moines from all over to enjoy this festival, it was quite an event. I talked to the police afterwards to ask, was there any major events? I think there was one lady that had a little bit of a minor heat stroke or heat situation, so the ambulance came and got her. Outside of that, the police said it was a very well-run event where there was not any significant events. I hope that's still the case. I left after 11, so what after 11, I don't know anything about, okay? So congratulations to the Long family for that as well. I also want to raise up the voice to Audrey, who really played an instrumental role in so much of what happened this weekend. You know, we just get to show up and we get to say our talk and all of those kinds of things. And it's people like the staff that really are the unsung heroes, the ones that are there in the hours, the police officers that are walking up and down the street, making sure their presence is there, not for anything to do bad, but to offer support if needed. And then Park and Rec, setting up those chairs and going back and getting more chairs and all of that kind of stuff, making sure that we are actually hosting folks in our city. So I want to thank everybody for that. I want to say I'll be attending the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Workforce DEI Awards that the Chamber is hosting this Thursday. Lots of great individuals will be receiving the award. Lots of great individual companies will be receiving awards for the work that they're doing in the advancement of diversity, equity, inclusion. So that's happening on Thursday night. So I want to congratulate the Chamber for, again, lending their voice and their resources to sharing the good work that's going on in the metro area, particularly in West Des Moines.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I would just take a brief second. Tomorrow is going to be an important day. Tomorrow is the 21st birthday of Councilwoman Renee Hardman. She will be celebrating. 11 o'clock is when she cuts it off, though. That's what we've learned here. But happy early birthday to you.
Thank you.
I know you're looking forward to your first adult beverage.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Cheers.
Absolutely. We'll be thinking of you tomorrow.
Okay.
Councilman McKinney.
Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, Mayor, and happy early birthday. I'll echo a lot of those comments. Mayor, your comments, and Councilwoman Hardman, yours. The Friday afternoon was a special afternoon and obviously a historic afternoon for a lot of different reasons. And I want to say also thank you first to Audrey. You know, a lot of work went into leading up to that event. I mean, she had that thing scheduled down to the minute when I got this kind of flow of show, so to speak, kind of timeline of events. So everything leading up to it, everything during the event, her comments were excellent. And then, of course, you know, throughout afterwards, a recap and all of the festivities that happened afterwards. So just a thank you to Audrey and so many folks that made it a special afternoon. To the Long family, wow, it was. I could not believe that showing. I mean, when we had the vote here, I think it was June 5th. you filled the council chambers, and the crowd that was there on Friday afternoon made the crowd here look very small, and it was not small by any means here. So just a thank you for your patience over the years, appreciation for what your family has done for this community over decades. And it was really an honor, much like Councilwoman Hardman shared, an honor to speak and an honor to share some words during the event. So thank you for allowing me to do that. And then we kicked it off with the Taste of the Junction, and not a lot of people know, but I'm a Lebanese heritage, and so my grandmother was 100% Lebanese, and so when I went down there on Saturday afternoon, I took my kids, and there was this great vendor, Lebanese vendor down there, having authentic food here in West Des Moines was fantastic. So great event. Kids had a lot of fun, face painting and other activities. So I know that I'm excited to let the folks at Bravo know about the event. I may actually even see if we might be able to share that slideshow or something with the Bravo board, because I know they were supportive, as well as the community foundation. So I think, for the long-term impact of that, helping them understand what that support meant and the impact it had in the community could be a really good thing. So that's all I have at this time.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Councilman Hudson.
Well, I think that Matt and Renee, I think you both said it all. So I just wanted to say congratulations to the Long family, because such a legacy, such a history, important to recognize, important to remember, important to celebrate. So Renee, the words you spoke were just on point. So I can't say it any better. So thank you for that, because what a weekend. I did want to share, just for Parks and Rec, as the liaison of the Parks and Rec Board, I mean, this was just a wonderful summer. And I don't know, it just seems like this is my 4th year on council, and that first summer on council, that was the summer of 2020. It was a very different time when it came to activities and recreation, and just the folks in West Des Moines and from outside of the community who come into our city to participate in things. It's epic, and I really want to congratulate the Parks and Rec staff for all of their diligence. 100,000 people come to our aquatic centers. That's just so very many people, and they're all waiting for the slide that I want to go down. Anyway, I did want to say as well, I can't even remember who it was. This week I was talking to a random person. It was last week. I cannot remember who it was. And then they said, I hear that Brett Hodney is going to be leaving the city. And we talked about it for a moment. And since his last day is coming right up, this person, they are involved in the city, a different city or a county. I can't remember who it was, but they're like, boy, you were losing somebody amazing. Because West Des Moines does it right in the Public Works Department. And that was their message to me, and I said, I agree wholeheartedly. So, Brad, I just wanted to say best wishes on your new journey, and thank you for your 34 years of service. So that'll do it for my report.
Thank you, Councilman. City Manager Adden.
I have a few things. One is I just want to follow up with a purchase that we made of the property, the church property, over by the Jordan House. Dan Howson is his $500,000 will be coming this week towards the purchase, and Don Shane will have $200,000 out of his $500,000 be coming this week towards the actual Arboretum project. So they're follow up with their commitment. Another thing on 4J and 4K, it becomes pretty common here. This is another acceptance of Iowa Clean Air Attainment Program, and then the other one's another application. Well, through the years we've gathered $4 million of grants, which makes people, even though people think when they drive through the West Des Moines, some say, oh man, it's so much traffic, but if they compare it to other cities, it moves. And this helps it move better, and it helps us reduce air pollution. So it's great work, and Jim Dickinson does this, and this is where I'm going to bring in Brett Hodney, because this is after 34 years of council meetings. I don't know if he came to council meetings those early years, Brett, before you're in leadership, but he's come to a lot of them. And the next council meeting he'll be doing will be in Buckeye, Arizona, I assume. And so I'm sure you're going to be tuning in to us just because that's what you want to do on a Monday night, right? Unless it's the same night. But I wanted to thank personally, I've worked with Brett Hodney years before I took this job at Metro Waste Authority. He was always innovative, great to work with, represented the city of West Des Moines very well. And then, and we're putting, Gary Rank is going to be the interim, so I have every confidence that things are going to continue to run smoothly with all the experience Gary has also. But we are going to miss Brett and appreciate his presence, his innovation, his eyes trying to solve problems and take that approach when I've thrown him quite a few challenges over the years. And he said, okay, instead of I can't do this, how can we do this? So I appreciate that, and we're going to miss you, Brett. So wish you well.
Thank you, City Manager. So Brett, this is your last council meeting of the 34 years, is that correct? Boy, I'm glad you said something. I'm glad you said something. I had forgotten about that. I've been able to work with you for the last nearly 14 years, and it has been a huge honor and pleasure. You are somebody who absolutely loves the city and has always loved the city, and I really appreciate that about you. And you are very innovative and creative. You've helped us win an award for both being fiscally responsible and environmentally responsible, and how you would have, the de-icer sprayed down on the road, and always looking at becoming more efficient and effective with different technologies that you look to deploy. And we are the envy of not only the Metro, but the state for what we do in public works / public services. And a lot of that is due to your leadership and a lot of the people that you've trained underneath you. So, we're really going to miss you, Brett. We appreciate everything that you've done for the city over the last 34 years, and we wish you the best in your new gig. But don't be a stranger. Come back and visit. So thanks for everything. Okay. Also, I want to recognize Greta Truman, one of our city attorneys that is up here, and welcome to the excitement of the dais. Glad for you to be able to join us up here. All right, and with that, we're going to move on to item 4, consent agenda. Are there any items that any council person would like to have pulled and voted on separately?
We'll do item 4P.
Yep,
Get some folks
4P
here.
we're going to pull for sure. Okay, any other items? Otherwise, I would take a motion to move the remainder.
So move.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Please vote. Who are we missing?
Yeah, we closed the vote, but we'll reopen it so we
Really?
can get
Okay.
everyone's vote. So now, please vote, everyone. 4 yes.
Okay, item 4P is a proclamation honoring Constitution Weeks for September 17th through the 23rd of 2023. We've got Daughters of the American Revolution here. We've got Diana, Donna, and Susan out in the audience. I guess I would take a motion to approve the proclamation.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. I'm going to read the proclamation, then we're going to ask you to come up and join us for a picture. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law. And whereas September 17th, 2023 marks the 236th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate it. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. And now, therefore, I, Russ Trimble, Mayor of the City of West Des Moines, Iowa, do thereby proclaim the week of September 17th to the 23rd, 2023, as Constitution Week in the City of West Des Moines. And I urge all citizens to reaffirm the ideals that the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. Signed this 5th day of September 2023. Okay? Please vote.
4 yes.
Okay. You guys want to meet us down here for a picture? We've got two different chapters here of the Daughters of the American Revolution. We've got the D chapter and the S chapter. We've got Susan here and Diana and Donna, so we've got two different proclamations for you. Councilman McKinney has the other one. Okay. If you guys come on in and I'll hold this with you, we can display it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Great.
Very good. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Feel free to leave. You guys don't have to stay.
We just introduced the Constitution in class today, Mayor Trumbull.
Yeah?
Yes, we did.
Professor.
You can read the proclamation in class now.
For the people.
That's right. Okay, moving on to item 5, old business. Item 5A, Silverwood PUD, northeast corner of South 88th Street and Mill Civic Parkway, amend the Silverwood Planned Unit Development Ordinance to modify buffering requirements, perimeter setback requirements, and outdoor use areas. PFC WDM Holdings LLC. We've got an ordinance for approval of the second reading, waiver of the third reading, and adoption in final form. There are no outstanding issues, and there are no changes from the previous reading, which was adopted unanimously at our last meeting.
Motion to consider the second reading.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
4 yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, and ordinance number 1783 and 2517 pertaining to plan unit development district regulations and guidelines.
Motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
4 yes.
Doug?
Motion to waive the third reading and adopt in final form.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
4 yes.
Okay, item 6, public hearings. Item 6A, this is a time and a place for a public hearing to consider approval of the conduit license agreement with CenturyLink Communications LLC. And I would assume this is initiated by Lumen or CenturyLink?
CenturyLink Communications doing business as Lumen.
Okay, initiated by CenturyLink Communications doing business as Lumen. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
August 30th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And have you received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience who would like to address the council on item 6A, please come to the podium here, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, please hit *6 to unmute yourself and give us your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing no movement and hearing nobody online, I will declare the public hearing closed. We've got a resolution for approval of the conduit license agreement with CenturyLink Communications LLC, and there are no outstanding issues.
So move.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I'd just say it's great to see another provider enter into the conduit.
Yeah.
And I know the original goal, as it was shared, was to have as many providers in there as we can to increase, I'll say, competitive forces to help ensure that homeowners not only have access to some of the fastest fiber in the country, frankly, but also choice and competition that will hopefully keep pressure down or keep pressure up on prices going down.
Yeah. No, I was going to make the exact same comments. It is really good to see more competition, more providers coming into the conduit network. This is exactly what we anticipated would happen when we went forward and embarked on this project. You know, as you know, I think we've got room for about 7 different providers in the conduit network. And now we've got, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 4 different providers, I believe, in the conduit network. And I think a couple of them are, including this one, I believe is citywide or at least pretty substantial throughout the city. So it's great to see this, and I just encourage more providers to come and participate in this. So, any other discussion?
Oh, and it should be said that if 7 individual providers came into our community, they would make 7 individual holes in people's yards, et cetera. But
That's correct.
now they will utilize the conduit that's already there, and therefore less less construction, less dirt, et cetera. So I think that's going to be helpful for a lot of residents. It's been painful for a little bit because there's been lawn work, but the future's looking bright.
I totally agree. The other goal that we had here is cleaning up the right-of-way, making sure there's enough room in there for all the different public utilities to go in the right-of-way, and this helps tremendously. So it's great to see this. Okay, with no other comments, please vote.
4 yes.
Okay, item 6B. This is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider a resolution for final design, site selection, and approval of the acquisition of property, including agricultural property for Mill Civic Parkway, Sugar Creek, and Fox Tree Crossings, initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
August 25th, 2023, in the Des Moines Register.
And have you received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience that would like to address the council on item 6B, please come to the podium. Give us your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is David Brown. I'm a homeowner at 33425 Waterbury Circle. So I've not gotten much communication from the city. I'm just being advised that they're going to do temporary easement on my property, and there's been no communication or word that any of my trees, my bushes, some expensive stuff is going to be replaced or reimbursed. I've not had any communication. And in context, sorry, I'm not a great speaker.
Well, you're
In
fine.
the greater Des Moines
You're
area.
doing great.
Thank you. In the greater Des Moines city, not just West Des Moines. Inadvertently, from various policies, I've lost $500,000 worth of property value as a default of safety and losing $300,000 in my home in Des Moines. So I moved out of the city. And now I'm being told that West Des Moines is going to be forcibly annexing my property. And I'm going to be having to, it's probably going to cost me probably $100,000 and various different reasons. I could go into that if you want. And also on the roads in this area, when they built bridges, West Des Moines did in Grand Prairie Parkway, when they built a bridge, they diverted water so it targeted right towards my property. And for me to fix the damage from the water, it would cost me probably $100,000 plus money. Just from the West Des Moines building policies. So with that in context, I just got this letter that that you're going to temporarily ease my property to build a bridge, destroying all the trees. Part of the properties I bought this property was also for all the trees to block the view for future development. And now you're being telling me you're going to go and destroy my trees. So, and I'm not really exactly sure why you intend to do that. When you build your bridge, you can build it on the opposite side where there's no people living there. There's no homes. All you would be doing is going onto my side to destroy my property. And I don't really see any communication or effort and discussion. I know I'm just kind of a cog in the wheel. You probably weren't aware of all of these issues. But I mean, $500,000 worth of decisions is going to be a big impact on me. So anyway, I guess it would be nice to get a little feedback and how that's
Well,
going to
this
happen.
is exactly what these public hearings are for.
And I
is to hear-
apologize, I'm not a great public
No,
speaker.
you're
so-
fine, honestly.
Yeah.
This is exactly what these public hearings are for,
Okay.
is to be able to hear from you and hear some
Thank
of the
you.
concerns that you have. Why don't we get your contact information, and we will have somebody from engineering reach out and
Okay.
maybe have you come in and show you what the impact on your property specifically is going to be, have a discussion, and we can do some question and answer any questions that you might have.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
Councilman.
I just want to say, I really appreciate you coming to share your thoughts and your feelings, because, that is why we are here. We're here to listen. Some of the stuff that you just brought up, I hadn't heard before, so I'm interested in hearing a bit more. I know Brian is pretty thorough, and Brian, we're very interested in hearing how you respond to, and the kind of communications you have with some of the kinds of things that he's brought up. So, thank you. It takes a lot of courage to come
Yeah.
to the dais to talk about what's
Yeah.
most important to you, and that's your property, and
Right.
how what we do affects that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. More later. Unless Brian. Brian?
I think what would be appropriate is, like I said, if we can have the engineering department reach out to David have a conversation and let him know what the impact is going to be and what we can do to try to mitigate that impact on your property to the best of our ability. So I think that's what's appropriate now, unless somebody has answers or can address that. I don't think people are prepared to do that on the fly. So let's make sure we get your contact information. We'll have somebody reach out to you.
And I'd like to know kind of the results of your all's discussion.
Yeah, we'll have staff report back to the council. Okay?
Yeah.
Councilman McKinney.
Yeah, no, David, I appreciate you being here and raising these issues. Obviously, this is the first time that we've heard about it. And I know that the Mills Civic Parkway work is kind of a longer-term project. But as I look at this, we're approving the acquisition of property. We're going to be, and there's a lot that's part of this resolution. So I feel a little uncomfortable moving forward with something where we are now suggesting for the first time that, property owners get together with staff to get information, and then we, at least for me, to approve something without that occurring. It would be my preference to frankly defer this for 2 weeks, allow that conversation to occur.
I agree.
And then bring it back. Unless there's some sort of emergency thing that needs to happen in the next 2 weeks, I want to be informed and understand what the impact is.
Was Public Services informed? Who's on Public Services?
I'm on Public Services. I don't recall any conversation. I don't know, Brian, if you can help me,
Well,
but
this is specifically for the public hearing so that we can hear from people like David.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we need to follow through on the public hearing and let people speak. And if you guys want to make a motion at the end of this to defer, we can do that once I close the public hearing. All right, go ahead, Brian.
Brian Hemeseth, city engineer. This is a formality that we do on all of our projects before we acquire property from anyone. We basically get your permission. We let you know that there's a project, and this is simply a formality. We haven't spoken with this resident yet because, frankly, we're not ready to yet. So we'd be happy to. I'd prefer not to defer it, but if that's something that the council wishes, then that is something that you could do. But there's no reason to defer it at this point in time.
I appreciate that,
If we
Brian.
vote on it now, how does that impact the discussion that might happen and there's other findings and whatnot?
I'm just reading here. It says a public hearing is necessary to make the final selection for the site of the project and to authorize the acquisition of property. And let's just say hypothetically, the conversations break down and there's something that stands out where, at the end of the day, I don't feel comfortable with to authorize the acquisition of property because of something we learned through this process. That's where I'm coming in. That's where I'm just saying, it'd be my preference to have all of this information hammered out.
Is it come up on the
Hold on
day?
one second, Dave. Hold on a second.
The wording of the staff report is such that we need to. It's a
This
kind
is
of
a code
for the-
requirement. This is a requirement of the Iowa code when
Yes.
dealing with agricultural property.
Right, and we
that do
can't,
this ahead of time.
we can't really even go to him and talk to him about this under the potential threat of condemnation without doing this.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Brian. What are the next steps? Let's say this gets approved tonight. What are the next steps that are taken? I mean, obviously, we're going to direct you to sit down with.
We reach out with
David.
each individual property owner, show them what the impacts are to their property, and
Okay.
and then if the impacts are something that we can mitigate, we work with them, and if it's not, then we show them what those impacts are, and we compensate them for whatever the impacts are.
Okay. And if there are not willing sellers in this case, then there's a condemnation hearing and all those
Right.
things. And
And
then there's a separate board essentially that you will go, the city development board that will hear.
Yep, there's
this and-
a sheriff's jury for Dallas County, and they hear from our appraiser and our folks, and then they hear from the property owner, and then they determine a fair market value, and then we move forward with the project.
Okay.
Will this come back before this body for any determination relative to condemnation or other, I guess, city action?
There's many things that will come before the city council for action for this project.
But relative to this homeowner acquiring this ground, it would come back before this body. In other words, I'm not giving authorization to move forward with condemnation tonight.
Yes, you are.
Okay, well, then I'm going to need some time.
Okay.
But when you actually go to acquire the property, is that going to be another approval of the council, or is this the approval tonight?
The acquisition is a separate,
I mean, we'll see a separate vote on the acquisition of agricultural
well,
property, right?
we already have it. You're basically giving us the authorization to.
To move forward.
To negotiate. And then we negotiate, we present something to the council, and then the payment goes to the,
Okay,
and that goes through council.
okay, let's continue with the public hearing, and then I will go to the council for a motion, okay? All right, anybody else that would like to, David, you want to come up and address something that was brought up? Come on back.
Sorry, just for a clarification. So I appreciate your input there. Thank you. It's not just the acquisition of property that's already been proposed. It's also the temporary easement. Actually, ironically, it's the temporary easement when they're going to, I believe, put all their stuff in there in my property to build the bridge. That's actually where a lot of the concern is the temporary easement, where it's going to destroy a lot of the trees. So, thank you.
Okay, and David, you said your address was Waterbury Circle?
Yes, sir. 33425 Waterbury Circle.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is that in Des Moines you're talking about?
No, I'm
Because
outside.
you said you lived in Des Moines.
So I moved out, it's
Okay.
Sugar Creek.
Oh, okay.
Sugar
Okay.
Creek, close,
Okay.
close. I moved
That's
out
the
of town.
confusion was the Waterbury Circle. Okay.
Yes, understood.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, anybody else that would like to address the council on this item?
I only have one comment.
Hold on, I'll open it up. Let's get to the public hearing. Let's let everyone
Okay.
make their comments. I'll close the public hearing, open it up to comments from the council.
Okay.
Anybody else that would like to address the council, either in the chamber or online by hitting *6? Okay, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. And we've got, I believe, a resolution for final design, site selection, approval, the acquisition of property, including ag property. Councilman Lotz, I'll let you speak before any action is taken.
Yeah, so I'm confused about the procedure here. Mr. Hemmelstad, would you come back up? So the way I understood your comments earlier was that we need to pass this resolution in order for you and the city to have a conversation with the homeowner.
That's my understanding. Greta, you can
Greta?
corroborate or not.
We can have a conversation prior to passing this. I think in the past, there's been some fluctuation in the way this has been handled by the city attorney's office, and so that would.
Because I am not comfortable with this in any way without some conversations being had with the homeowners there on that street. And if, for whatever reason, this continues down the path, and the next vote that I see is to approve the funds for doing that, I've got to assume that we've had those conversations. I don't want it to get that far. So I'm pretty clear on where I'd stand. I would vote tonight and actually, well, I don't know. I think I want to make a motion to, Mayor, to defer for 2 weeks on this and have a meeting
Okay.
in place.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to defer until the next council
Next
meeting,
council meeting, yeah,
first council meeting in October.
yes.
Oh,
We have
sorry.
September
That's
18th.
September,
We have one in
yes.
September yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so September 18th.
And I would ask staff to meet with the resident
Okay.
and go through that. So the motion is to defer. I think.
Defer to the September 18th meeting.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'll
Is there-
second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
And,
Okay, discussion.
Well, I'll just say, I think I'm hopeful that we can have a conversation without having to have, what I'm hearing you say, Greta, is that we can have a conversation without doing this, that this conversation can occur. I know this is an important project, no question about it. It's an important project to have Mills Civic Parkway be built out as a way folks are looking at. But at the same time, I think before I can take a vote, I need the time, and I think that this is a good path, so.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yeah, I
Okay,
do.
Councilwoman
So I
Harden.
just want to make sure I understand, is this going to be coming back to Public Services? Or this 2-week deferment is just so the two of them can have a conversation? And is it just with him? Are there other homeowners similarly situated? I'm just trying to understand, what are we going to get, what's going to accomplish in 2 weeks? So I'm
I
not
think
against
the
it, I'm
motion-
just trying to understand.
Yeah, I think the motion that was made, that we defer on this and bring it back to council in 2 weeks. And I think Brian's going to reach out to David, have a conversation, and any other homeowner, I guess, that comes forward and has concerns and wants to see what the impact of their property is. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that typically it's customary to be able to pass this first, and then staff can have those discussions. So we typically haven't done this before, I don't believe. Typically, we've passed this, then if there's discussions that need to be had, you have those discussions. I think what I'm hearing from the council, and I understand what they're saying, is there really isn't, let's say at the end of the day, the council decides that they don't like the outcome of the meetings, and they don't want to move forward with the acquisition of the property this way. The ball's kind of in motion at that point. I think that's what the concern is of the council. And so they want, some ability to get a report back, make sure that everything is satisfactory to them, that they feel comfortable enough moving forward based on whatever we could do to mitigate the impact or answer any of the questions that David has.
Okay, so I guess I'm just trying to make sure I truly understand too, is that, was this discussed at Public Services or this, because it got here, I'm just trying to understand so that staff kind of understand the process too. Was it discussed
They
at
were,
Public Services? and
Public
they weren't
Services,
sure, or-
Public Services was just informed
Oh, okay, just
that this was going on. There was no formal discussion, nor formal votes, if you will.
No affirmation,
No.
just FYI?
Not based on the Pinky, no. It was just FYI, we've got this coming up.
And I was present for the Public Services meeting, and there was, nobody showed up for the Public Services meeting. I don't recall any, I'll say, detailed conversation on this. And I think you're exactly right, Meyer. Generally speaking, or if not almost a majority of the time, these things are happening. But I'd also say, I don't know that we've ever had a homeowner come in at that hearing to say, hey, hold on, at least in my recollection. So to me, this is a bit unique. We've got somebody that has concern. And that's what I'm trying to just let out the concern.
And like I said at the beginning, this is exactly why we have these public hearings.
Yeah.
Is to provide that notice of the public hearing and listen to any comments that any homeowners or business owners have in regards to the action we're about to take, which is why David showed up here. Now, there's no other homeowners here. I don't know if that means that no other homeowners have any issues. I wouldn't assume that, but David got the notice and cared enough to show up and had these concerns. And so the process is working the way it was intended to.
Okay.
For
Yes.
what it's worth, all of the construction, or a vast majority of the construction is going to be happening south of the existing Mills Civic Parkway on this project. So the amount of easement and the amount of construction work that's going to be done on the north side is pretty limited. We just haven't had those conversations yet, so I can understand the hesitancy of the property owner and not knowing what's happening and having, a past experience with that. I totally get it. We just, it's not very impactful to the north side. So I'm just saying that so that,
Yeah.
to give you some peace of mind and the property owner some peace
It'd
of
probably be
mind.
beneficial, Brian, to share more, you at least have it to a preliminary design so you know what you want, right?
Right.
What level. So the council could see the preliminary design, what's the goal of us moving? I mean, sometimes like we assume people just know that we're just doing this, but what the goal of expanding Mills Civic and why, and it's obviously to connect to Grand Prairie Parkway, but to give some of that background. And then if you could even show, sometimes there's easements or temporary easements put on maps of construction that may not even be needed, or like you said, not, but it'd be kind of helpful to know what if there is what the suggested impact is on his property.
And to the credit of the engineering department, I mean, I've worked with your department many times on many of these kind of projects. These guys really do a great job of pinching that design and and doing everything they can to really mitigate the impact to the property owner. I have witnessed it myself time and time again. So I've got full faith and confidence that that is exactly what you will do on this project. It's, sometimes, unfortunately, you cannot mitigate all of the impacts to the property. But certainly, David needs to know what those impacts are, and we need to know what those impacts are. So, Councilman Hudson.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. My question for you, Brian, is what would this 2 weeks do? I think Renee had asked it a moment ago. What would these 2 weeks deferment do in regards to this overall project? How big of a deal are the 2 weeks waiting for that communication to occur at a more robust level? Could you tell me more about that, sir?
It could potentially put a delay on the letting of the project, which we can work through that. And then what we're going to do is basically bring plans to the property owner and talk it through with them. So I just don't see the impacts being very significant to the north side of the property. So that it's nothing we can't work through, but.
Yeah, I think the homeowner's just asking to be communicated with, and I think that 2 weeks allows that to happen. So there's not something more consequential. Let's vote on this thing.
And, Brian, you're good to go, so I'm good. David, thank you for sharing your thoughts. It's always difficult because currently you're not a resident within the borders of West Des Moines, and so you're coming to the West Des Moines City Council, and as you mentioned, there's talk of annexation and everything, and this is something that's certainly important to me. I don't live too far from here. I'm the only one up here who lives in Dallas County, so I certainly have a keen eye on what's going on, especially when it comes to conversations with Fox Creek, with your neighborhood, et cetera, when it comes to these annexations. But I know that our engineering department's going to do a great job trying to communicate with you over these next couple weeks, trying to figure out what has happened, what will happen, what the plans are for you, because I think there's a lot of concerns that you have, and I appreciate hearing those concerns, and I'm grateful that you came and shared those tonight. Really, really grateful for that. And I know that now the communication is going to be more open, and we're going to make sure that you hear precisely the plans. And as Brian said, much more of that road is going to be constructed south of that current road. However, there's still that impact north that comes close or into your property a little bit. But I'm glad to hear that it's much more south. Are you saying, Brian, just to nod, like the middle of the road right now is not going to be the middle of the road in the future, right? Correct. All right. So, and that would help you being further south. But I appreciate hearing, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So just from a parliamentary procedure, we have held the public hearing, we took public comment, we gave the notice, people that wanted to speak were able to speak, we closed the public hearing. So, Mr. Parliamentarian Ryan Jacobson, when we bring this back in 2 weeks, will it be in the form of old business?
Yes.
Okay, so it comes back as old business. So the public hearing is over, and there's no other discussion between us and the public on that.
You would have the option to open the public hearing if you so choose, if a resident were to come
Okay.
wanting to speak at that meeting, but the public hearing's been closed, we've met that requirement.
I just want to make sure that we're letting the expectations be known, that the actual public hearing is over at this time. Of course, we are very accessible, so if you have any concerns, any issues, please feel free to contact any one of us. Okay? All right, so we've got a motion and a second to defer this to the September 18th meeting of the City Council, where it will come back, I believe, under old business. Any further discussion before we vote? Okay, please vote.
For yes.
Okay, item 6C. This is a time and place for a public hearing to consider Recplex operational improvements initiated by the City of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
August 18th, 2023 in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience who would like to address the council on item 6C, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, please hit *6 to unmute yourself. Is there anybody in the chamber or online that would like to address the council on item 6C? Okay, hearing no one, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. We've got two resolutions and a motion, which we can take at the same time, and there are no outstanding issues.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
4 yes.
Okay, item 7, new business. Item 7A, termination of EP True Parkway Urban Renewal Area, city initiated. We've got a resolution and an ordinance which we need to take separately. First, we've got a resolution for termination of the urban renewal plan and ending of the EP True Parkway Urban Renewal Area. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
4 yes.
Okay, next, we've got an ordinance for approval, the first reading, providing for the division of taxes levied on the taxable properties in the urban renewal area.
Move consideration of the first reading.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
4 yes, an ordinance repealing ordinance number 2259, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the EP True Parkway Urban Renewal Area in the city of West Des Moines pursuant to section 40319 of the Code of Iowa.
Move approval of the first reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
4 yes.
It's nice to see some of these TIFs be expired and having the taxes released to the taxing entities. Okay, item 7B, termination of Grand Ridge Urban Renewal Area, city initiated. Again, we've got a resolution and ordinance which need to be taken separate. First, we've got a resolution for terminating the urban renewal plan and ending the Grand Ridge Urban Renewal Area. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the resolution?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
4 yes.
Okay, now we've got an ordinance for approval of the first reading, providing for the division of taxes levied on the taxable properties in the urban renewal area.
Motion consider the first reading?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
4 yes, an ordinance repealing ordinance number 2329, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the Grand Ridge Urban Renewal Area in the city of West Des Moines pursuant to section 40319 of the Code of Iowa.
Motion to approve the first reading?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
4 yes.
Okay, item 8, receive, file, and refer. There is no items to receive, file, or refer. Item 9, other matters. Are there any other matters that any council person would like to bring up at this time? Going once, going twice. Okay, we stand adjourned.